Good morning, everybody. It is Friday, April 24th, and we're going back to those angles in parallel lines that we talked about yesterday. Yesterday, we just named them and we said what their names were. Today, we're going to talk more about their relationship because that's what's important about them is what their relationship is, because we're going to take their relationship and be able to solve problems about them. So, I want you to see what I have today. I hope we're back to patty paper. I have a little patty paper that's going to help us to see the relationship between these angles and what that means. So if you look for angle 1 and angle 5, we said that they were corresponding angles, meaning they're in the same location but on different parallel lines. And so if I take, what I want you to see, if I take that angle number 1, which is fitting right there, see that? I know my nails need to be done, y'all. It's hard. And I bring it down to where angle 5 is. Tell me what you notice about it. They have the same measure. So whenever you have corresponding angles, what their relationship is they are congruent angles. They're going to be exactly the same measure. They're going to have the same measurement. So I'm going to put that over here by where we put that they were corresponding angles, and I'm going to put that they're congruent. They're going to be the same. They're going to have the same angle measure. Whenever we work problems, that's going to be important, is understanding that those two angles are going to have the same measurement. And then with angles 6 and 7, we don't really need patty paper because we can see their relationship. We know that they're a linear pair. They're making that straight line. And back in earlier grades, you learned a term for that. And their relationship, if they're a linear pair, that means that they're supplementary. Y'all remember that? You learned that you had two different things that angles could be in that situation. They could be complementary or they could be supplementary. And remember, if they're supplementary, that means that they equal 180 degrees. And we know that a straight line measures 180 degrees. And going back to complementary equals 90 degrees. The way that I keep them straight is C comes before S, and 90 comes before 180. So I remember C goes with 90, S goes with 180. So that linear pair, they're supplementary. If you add them together, you're going to get 180. Okay? Then we had the same side exterior angles. Same side exterior angles. And so that was angles 1 and 8. So if we do angles 1 and 8, they're not congruent, because if I put angle 1 over angle 8, I can see that it is not the same measurement. However, I know that angle 1 and angle 5 are congruent, and I know that angle 5 and angle 8 are those linear pair. They're supplementary. So if 1 equals 5 and 5 and 8 are supplementary, that means 1 and 8 have to be supplementary also. So those same side exterior would be supplementary. They would also make a straight line, and they would also equal 180. Okay? Then angle 2 and 4 were vertical angles. And so if you look at 2 and 4, if I just did a little quick 180 degree rotation right here, filling in that other geometric term, you can see 2 and 4 are also congruent. So vertical angles are congruent. They have the same measurement. So I'm going to come down here to vertical angles, and I'm going to put congruent. Okay. All right. So then we have angle 2 and angle 8, and they are alternate exterior angles. And so if I look at 2, and then I come down here and I look at 8, to me, they're both obtuse. They're both greater than a 90, less than a 180. And if I look and I do use my patty paper and I put it over that, I can see those are also congruent. So alternate exterior angles are congruent. Okay, that's their relationship. Then angle 3 and angle 7 are corresponding. Well, if I look back over here, we already said that corresponding are going to be congruent, but let's just take a look and make sure. So here's 3, and here's 7, and we can see that, yes, well, there's 3 and 7, yes, they are congruent. Okay, and we've talked about alternate exterior angles. Well, what about alternate interior angles like 3 and 5? Well, I can see that they're both acute. Well, let's just take a look. I'm going to do a little spin and set 3 on top of 5 and see. And when I look, I can tell, yes, they are congruent. They have exactly the same measurement. So alternate interior angles are congruent. Okay. Angle 2 and angle 3. If I look at them, I can see they're just like 6 and 7 right here. They make a linear pair, or they're linear angles, a linear pair of angles, because they are supplementary together. If you added their two measurements right here on 2 and 3, they would equal 180. So they are supplementary. Then you have angles 3 and angle 6. Angle 3 and angle 6 are same side interior angles. Well, I know that 3 and 5 are congruent, and I can see that 5 and 6 are a linear pair. They're supplementary. They're gonna make a straight line. So I know that if I take that 3 and I switch it over to where that 5 is, it's going to make a linear pair also. So those are supplementary. And I have to turn y'all so I can write it so my sheet doesn't move. So those are supplementary. And then our last set for today, 5 and 7. They're vertical, and we've already talked about vertical up here with 2 and 4. And they were congruent, 5 and 7. Right there, I'm going to give it a little 180-degree rotation, and I can see that they're going to be congruent also. They're going to have the same measure. And you might be wondering, well, Ms. Misach, why is this important? Well, we're going to take this knowledge of how they're related to each other, and we're going to use that knowledge to solve for missing measures. Like they're going to tell us the measure of one angle, and because we know it's either congruent or supplementary to other angles, we can solve for missing angle measurements. Okay? So y'all have a great weekend, and I will see you back on Monday. There will be no packet pickup for 8th grade math this week, even though there's a packet pickup and a library book drop-off. But math, we sent y'all home with enough for at least 2 weeks and probably more the last packet pickup. So no packet pickup this coming Tuesday for 8th grade math. Enjoy your weekend, and I'll talk to you later.